my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lights, camera, action.
It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Do you know who I am?
Live and local inside the J. Michael Studio.
People know me.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Filling in this morning, it's Coach Brian Haddad.
Yeah, a little delay there on the turning that jug up early, are you?
Gonna make it wet.
That's right.
Yeah. Will you make me sweat?
Yeah.
It's gonna get hot there.
Yeah.
Will you make me wet?
Yeah.
Well. Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, man.
I'm telling you. Brian Haddad sitting in for Coach Hale here on the Coach James Hale Show. Do want to relay thanks.
Full house in there.
Yeah, we do. I do want to relay this real quick before I get into introducing everybody. Yeah, I had mentioned Coach Hale was out, and I do want to thank everybody for thoughts and prayers and everything over the last couple of days, that everything is going very well. In fact, probably better than to be expected.
Good.
Everybody is back home and recovering and doing well.
Back
and
home.
all that. Well,
she's at home.
She's at home. And then hopefully
don't have a home.
James will
He's a
be in
nomad.
here. Yeah, exactly.
He heard it was foggy, so he wasn't going.
That's what we always say. You look at the weather when you see Hale going out of town. Just a reminder, Kentucky is spelled with a K and not an H. And I'm too ADD.
That depends on where you're from.
I'm too ADD. I can't deal with this screen.
And Aubers?
Yeah. Aubers. Oh, yeah. That was how we missed Kentucky yesterday. Want to thank you in the Friday panel here today. Jim Brandt, how we doing, Coach?
Doing good.
Glenn Eugene, Dr. Manley, I got all that backwards, but back again with us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. By default.
By default, yeah. And Jason Kovaleski, good to see you, Jason.
Good to see you guys. How y'all doing today?
Doing well. Wildcat, how we doing in there?
I'm hanging in by hanging on. I'm glad it's Friday, and if you're driving out there, it is froggy.
Oh, my
froggy
gosh.
and foggy.
The old pea soup.
Well, I do want to start with something today a little out of the ordinary, because I had kind of mentioned earlier in the week that I've never been much for the Winter Olympics. It's not a political thing. It's not obviously I haven't been around most of these sports.
Right.
And all like that. One I have been around a good bit, especially living in Nashville like I did, was hockey.
Absolutely.
And so yesterday I decided to check ESPN to see how our ladies were doing. Gold medal game against Canada, and we're down 1-0.
Yeah.
And I might have fired a few expletives at Canada. But then I decided to start watching, and 2 minutes to go in the third period. We're still down 1-0. We pull our goalie, win a face-off in there. And
which if people don't watch hockey, that's desperation mode.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You have no goalie to basically block any shots. If Canada shoots it down the bucket,
that's right, and it's game over.
Yeah, so you're getting an extra attacker on the ice to be able to get an odd man advantage, so you can try to score, which is, like I said, like a Hail Mary in football.
And it was perfect, because we won the face-off. We bet around, get a shot right in front of the keeper, Hillary Knight, the captain, the most
from Ohio State,
most decorated female player in U.S. USA history, and now the leading scorer in USA history, deflects it in, ties it. We go to overtime, which is a 3-on-3. Which if you haven't seen that, is wide open.
That was pretty cool.
And you see the men do it, because Canada went 3-3. Ohio,
Yeah.
did too. There's so much open space and ice, and these guys are so fast and so skilled. I mean, that's supposed to get scoring going, and it does usually.
And I got to tell you, Megan Keller, one of our defensemen, oh my gosh, and it was perfect. We kind of caught him out a little bit in a line shift. Great pass up the ice, but I do want to play this because we were kind of talking about it before the show. With soccer, with hockey, goals are so infrequent that it's like an explosion when it happens. I want you guys to listen to this. This is the game-winning goal in overtime. Megan Keller giving USA the gold medal.
Now Heisey, as Canada gets fresh skaters on the ice. The outlet pass for Keller, a defenseman. Nice move, cuts to the net, score! Megan Keller, the overtime hero, the United States, wins gold and gold!
And what a move. I mean, she had the ball on the left, or the puck on her left-hand side. The defender tried to sweep her. She swept it behind the defender to her right-hand side and then backhanded it behind the goalie. Just crazy move. And what an exciting moment.
It was so cool.
It'll give you goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
I got them now. With everything on the line. That's a gold medal or bust.
And everybody tell you, overtime hockey is the most exciting, whether it's playoffs or anything, because it's sudden death. The first goal scored is the end. You win, and there's so much pressure. But those girls pulled through. 2 minutes left. They're down the entire game. They get a tie, and then overtime goal. What an exciting game.
And, I'm always impressed because, I kind of come from broadcasting background, and I always love listening to the calls. So as good as Do You Believe in Miracles was, Al Michaels had time to prep that in his mind.
Right.
Jim Nantz would get the great ones with golf. You would prep you can't prep that because you're totally reacting. What a great call in the moment.
And when you watch it and you see the girls just pouring over the side and just celebrating and just the tears.
And gloves up.
The gloves are just, it's like confetti.
4 years of training and wanting. And, they've beaten Canada 8 times in a row now, which is amazing because Canada is where hockey was born. That's like if Canada beat us in NFL football or something like that. So the men got this coming up. If they win the gold, United States, I think Trump's going to annex Canada back to us.
Well, that is our third gold medal in women's hockey.
Yeah, they're good.
They won in, I think, 98 and 18, I believe. So
they're the standard.
Congratulations. That was really cool watching that yesterday. USA! USA!
And curling. I stayed up and watched some curling last night.
What, you want to see a fight?
No.
Apparently they've been fighting in curling.
Curling.
And I found out it was on a delay, so I looked up the score at like 12 a.m. and I was like, oh, well, I should have just looked up the score earlier.
I saw how they practiced that. There was a guy at his house, he was sweeping in front of his Zumba.
It's like I said, that's the Olympic sport the janitors watch.
That's about all I watched this year, I ain't gonna lie. So.
That's correct. But this is the first thing I watched. We turned it on with about 6 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And it was just, I want to beat Canada.
Right.
It's a
huge rivalry.
Semi-friendly rivalry.
Right.
But
it's got
definitely one to win.
I think it's gotten a little nastier.
Sure it has.
Yeah.
Sure it has. Well, Glenn, let's bring it back locally. We're coming back from Milan. Now let's go to just Bay County because we had a lot going on yesterday.
Yeah, it was exciting. If you were at North Bay Haven yesterday, they had the 1A District 1 wrestling tournament. And so the top 4 teams go to the regional, which would be at Bay High next Friday and Saturday, which if you don't know anything about the regionals and the district tournament, those are big deals to host those things. So congratulations, North Bay Haven and Bay is going to host next week. So the top 4 teams, number 1 is South Walton, number 2 is North Bay Haven, number 3 is Bay, and number 4 is Freeport. Now that's the team. That's not individual.
That's
I don't have
right.
any individuals. So the top 4 individuals also, or maybe it's the top 8. I've been out of it so long I can't remember now. But congratulations to them. And so if you really like the wrestling, next Friday and Saturday be at Bay High School. So
that was just the men's.
Yeah. The women they did theirs last weekend at Niceville.
Okay.
And so they had some individuals at Bay. I'm not sure where the Bay girls finished, but they're separate because when you start getting all those teams in there, it just takes a long time. So
it's grown so much on the women's side.
In baseball last night, we had Bay High finished with another football score, 10-0 over Walton.
Wow.
Hey, there we go.
Congratulations with them. So they're 4-1 now. Mosley traveled. We talked to Coach Lee yesterday. They traveled all the way to Enterprise, and Enterprise was kind of loaded. So Enterprise 4, Mosley 0 last night. So and a long ride coming back. I'm sure.
That's a tough trip.
You know, it's a tough trip, and so the Enterprise. We talked to Coach Lee. You know, really, really good. So, and then North Behaven 3, Liberty County 2. This would be all baseball scores. Freeport 5, Rutherford 0, Sneed 6, Weewa 2. It would be Marietta 6, Bluntstown 2, South Walton 7, Lincoln 0. So congratulations there. It was Vernon 11, Ponce de Leon 0, Malone 12, Graceville 1, and it was Franklin County 18, Rickards 5. Ooh. In softball last night, it was Bozeman 5, Holmes County 1, Destin 8, Mosley 4, Port St. Joe 10, Sneeds 0, Liberty County 13, Shipley 6, and South Walton 3 and Walton 2. I don't have Mariana, Cottondale, or Graceville, Vernon softball scores, or Poplar Springs played Emmanuel Christian out of Dothan. I don't have those scores, but you know. And then and something for him. You want me to say something for Michigan 80?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, this for Michigan 80 especially. There are 5 counties in the state of Florida that are charging their athletes to play. Wow. And so Pinellas County. These are all right around Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater. Sure. So. Pinellas County, they would charge a player $50 per sport fee, $200 maximum for the family. Wow. Pasco County, $80 for the first sport, $50 for the second one, $200 cap for the family. Hernando County, $50 for the first sport, $30 for the second, $110 family cap. And then Hillsborough will charge $30 per player for insurance purposes. And then St. Lucie, $50 per sport for the players. So there's 16 other states that charge, and the leading ones are Illinois, Ohio, Massachusetts.
Shocking.
Or Oregon and Connecticut. So those, you know,
the lottery giving us billions of dollars for education. Where does that money go?
Jason, I mean, come on. I'm sure they got a tax rebate.
Right.
But you know, here's the thing about the lottery. Remember when it first started, we didn't have the lottery system, so what we did, we had to have the car inspections. So I remember there were $12. $6 went to the state for education, and $3 went for the cost of the decal, and $3 or $8. Somehow they figured out where the guy doing the inspection got it, but everybody had to have their car inspected. So,
but for the amount of money they bring in, we should have gold schools. I mean, they steal that money. Let's be honest.
You got to remember, Glenn. I mean, $12, but you have to have administration to know where to pass that money out. So you got to pay them $12 so that they can do the job to make sure no dollars go anywhere.
Right. You know, but the other thing too is, you know, when they first had the lottery, they had the young lady doing it, and they hired somebody else. She went to Georgia. And that's how they run it. And everybody has a free lunch, and everybody,
the Georgia's Hope Scholarship probably runs better than just about any in the country I've seen that are tied to lottery.
There are ways to do it.
Somebody's benefiting.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I wouldn't say it's all clean, but I'd say it's the best of bad options, if you will.
Okay, Mr. Local Sports, I have a question for you, because I didn't know that Bay County was doing this. What's the word on flag football for girls? How many teams are doing it, and what's the story there?
I think there's 4, maybe.
I think that's right.
4
I know we
here.
had the first game the other night.
I think there's Bay. There's Rutherford, Mosley, and I don't know if Arnold's doing it. I don't know if Arnold's doing it or not. But they play about 14 games, and I know Bay travels tonight. And so, but you know, the only thing we talked about we talked about it yesterday. They're putting a girls' sport right there where you have girls' sports.
Right.
So you got.
So it's competing with other sports.
It's competing. You got softball. And you got girls track, and it's got, it's hard enough to get the girls out because, with cheerleading, they work so hard, it's hard for them to do anything else but cheerleading, which, but they're a sport too. Yeah. And so when they start claiming,
I'd love to see it in the fall, because I think there's a way you could wrap it into kind of the way JV will proceed or something like that, and you could actually probably get more people out.
Right. Probably better games if you could travel with JV and play before or after.
You have 3 football fields that you can use, and it doesn't. I think it's 80 yards anyway. And the other thing too is the 3 stadiums we have. the football teams don't practice on those stadiums,
That's right.
and so you could play a game there.
Sure.
Now, the practice facility is a whole different matchup.
Yep.
Don't know how you do that.
And I don't see the girls tearing the fields up like guys do. I mean,
But you know,
they're not as heavy. I don't think the cleats are as big.
we have wonderful soccer teams around here too. But if you notice, if you go to Tommy Oliver anywhere, where it's worn out the most is where the goalie stands.
Right.
Because he goes back and forth,
That's
back
right.
and forth
That's
the whole
right.
game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So
That's true.
anyway.
All right, well, let's talk about some of our great sponsors here on the Coach James Hale Show. J. Michael's Restaurant. It is Crisp Fish Day here. Love it on Friday. Grilled fish over rice, peppers, special sauce. Get out to J. Michael's there. Look, if you don't want the crisp fish, you can just get the best seafood in the coldest beer you're going to find anywhere in Bay County, and that is J. Michael's Restaurant. Steve's Bike Shop. Steve Burdishaw there running the show since 1979. They've been in business right there on 23rd Street, right across from Sam's. If you want an old style bike, you want one of those electric bikes, you need to have service done on your bikes, get out and see the best folks in the area, and that is Steve's Bike Shop. Steve, I know he's got the kids getting ready. The Southeastern Swim Championships are next weekend up in Huntsville. I'll be up there, or as Glenn and I call it, Huntsville. But we'll be up there, so I know he's got kids getting ready for that. So good luck to all of them. And John, I'm headed up to Lynn Haven.
Yeah, man.
I've got some gold and silver in my pocket. I want to
money.
Look, it's at a record high here. Where am I going to talk about this and maybe get me a nice piece of jewelry?
You're going to go to David Adamson Designer Jewelry, 830 Highway 77. Whether you're getting married or you're trying to keep from getting a divorce, that's where you need to go, because they have a piece of jewelry that will settle all your problems right there. David Adamson Designer Jewelry, 830 Highway 77, Lynn Haven.
In Lynn Haven, we get back. We're going to talk to Bozeman baseball head coach Brian Norman about the season and how they are doing. You're listening to the Coach James Hale Show on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
The only one person more critical than you to make this show.
Oh, thank you, Coach. That's so nice.
I was going to say that. Wildcat. You complete me. You had me at hello.
You believe this?
You had me at hello.
What do you want? What do you want?
I'm going to give you a gift.
Yeah.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. A variety of light rain and slight fog this afternoon and evening with a wind coming out of the south-southwest around 10 miles per hour and a high of 72. Tonight, look for a variety of slight fog and very light rain with a temperature near 66. Tomorrow, a high around 74 and very light rain. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you living with chronic pain, anxiety, or sleepless nights? You don't have to just get by. You deserve to thrive. At Thrive Alternative Medicine on Panama City Beach Parkway, Dr. Laughlin and counselor Suzanne Clark provide a compassionate path to relief, from medical marijuana card certifications to professional mental health counseling, managing conditions like PTSD, chronic pain, and the complexities of cancer. Book online at thrivealternativemedicine.com. Thrivealternativemedicine.com. Find the relief you deserve.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs, with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Do you know who I am?
If he was the last person on Earth,
I'm kind of a big deal.
mankind would still have a chance.
We may have to repopulate the Earth.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm very important.
Live from the J. Michael Studio at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
All right. And welcome back to the Coach James Hale Show here on ESPN Radio. Once again, Thank goodness we don't air the in-between talks.
Trouble you guys.
We'll have to make that a premium service.
Right.
But yeah. Well, if Wildcat leaves the microphone on, he can blackmail us.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I do have it recorded.
No, Lord. All right. Well, let's talk about something that everybody wants to hear, and that's how it's going up at Bozeman High School, or Dean Bozeman School.
That's right.
And
Dean
bringing the
Bozeman
head baseball
School.
coach, Brian Norman. Coach, how are we doing this morning?
I'm great, guys. I got a question for you guys to start the segment this morning. Does listenership go up when James Hale isn't around?
Well, to be fair, that's half the time.
Well, he was going to come back today, but heard it was foggy, so he was staying up there, I guess, man.
If it does, I want a raise. I'll tell you that.
You definitely deserve one.
Yeah. Obviously, very early into the season, but you guys have been at it. I think you've had 4 games over like 5 days here. Had a few days off since, but talk about the early part of the season, off to a 3-1 start, and you know, kind of some of the games that you've played up to this point.
Yeah, 3-1. I'm really proud of my guys where we're at right now. You know, the one loss we have is to, you know, one of the best teams in the nation at South Walton, and we played those guys really closely. You know, we go up there. Their first pitch they threw of the game was 93 miles an hour, and then my guy goes up there and throws a 75-mile-an-hour fastball and just kept them off balance all night. And it was so much fun. It was a great atmosphere, great game, and even though, you know, we were disappointed in the result, we were happy in the way we played. So we're playing good baseball right now. We've you know, played Mariana, beat them 9-5. Played Rutherford, beat them 11-0. Tonight we've got a big test for us with Arnold coming over here to the north end of the county, and it's going to be a fun night.
I know it's early, Coach, but is there anything through these kind of first 4 games that has maybe surprised you about your team? Something maybe you didn't think you'd be doing very well and you're doing better than you thought, and maybe conversely something you thought, oh, this is going to be our strength, and it's kind of lagging maybe just a little bit through the first 4?
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. When I took over this job, if you'd have told me that we would be 3-1 and Zach Flickcraft has only thrown 1 inning, and Lane Hathaway hasn't thrown any innings, and we would still be 3-1, I would have told you were a fool. But that's where we are. You know, we've got a lot of depth, and our guys step up and do what they need to do to win ball games. So that has been really, really surprising to me. That we haven't had the arms that we thought we would have, but we have responded really, really well. Our pitching staff is doing a great job. It's been a pleasant surprise for us.
Yeah, Coach, you know, you have I don't remember who your district is, but you're out to the lead. I think you're 2-0 in the district, so congratulations on that move. Tell me a little bit about who could be in your district, and I know down the road probably Bowles is in that region somewhere, but tell me about what's in your district.
So our district is us, Mariana, Destin, Freeport, and Pensacola Catholic. We don't play Freeport during the regular season. We don't play Pensacola Catholic during the regular season. So we've played Mariana once. We played Destin once, beat both of them. We play Mariana again next week at their place. They're a good ball club. We have to take care of business against them. With the way things work out, you know, you don't have to play your district teams during the regular season, but it gives us a good measuring stick as to where we are against our district opponents. Once we get out of district, then, yeah, we head towards Jacksonville teams. You know, we're looking at Bowles and Bishop Snyder and Trinity Christian, those guys, and that's some really tough teams that we're going to have to get through to get to Fort Myers.
Well, yeah, the other thing, too, is now when you go to the district play, do you have like a satellite games, or y'all have to meet at one spot?
We had our district coaches meeting last week, and we decided to all play all of our games at one spot for our district tournament, and fortunately we get to host it here at Dean Bozeman. So we'll be hosting all games of our district tournament.
You know, I think that's the best because you get to share, I guess, the revenue, but you get to have more of your people there. I think because that community, you know, I used to teach there, coach there. You know, they show up, they support everything there.
Yeah, they really do. It's been phenomenal to see the support that we have for this program, and I've seen it across all sports. The parents, the teachers. just everyone in the community getting behind this school it's really fun to see.
Now that you guys have moved up, so what's your official classification now? Because it used to be 1A. What classification are you guys now?
We're 2A District 1.
2A, and I know I'm looking way ahead, but I know Jeff Patton set the bar pretty high for you. You know that state championships are kind of like what you got to play for. Where would that be played? Is you still going to have to go to Fort Myers, or what's that whole scenario? Do you know yet?
Yeah, the state championship series is still in Fort Myers. You know, they've changed the format a little bit with the regional bracket. Regional quarterfinals are played. It's just a one game this year. Last year it was best 2 out of 3. This year it's just a one game set for that regional quarterfinal, and then regional semifinals is a best 2 out of 3, and the higher seed hosts, and the same thing for the regional finals.
You know, Coach, you mentioned you've got Arnold tonight, big game there up at Bozeman. You know, last year, of course, we talked so much, and Coach Hale talked so much about, you know, the two big arms that they've got that are now at the University of Florida in Moss and Blair. Talk about kind of Arnold this year, kind of the challenge they pose. And, you know, last year was so dominated by those two big pitchers. What kind of a team is Arnold this year? What are you looking at for the game tonight?
Well, I know the team really well,
sure.
But having coached there for the past 4 years. We're going to see Jackson Ross, lefty that throws mid-80s and has a really good breaking ball, so we know we're going to get him. We know that Arnold has done a great job so far this season with their record. I mean, they went out and beat Lincoln, who's one of the best teams in the country. They had a walk-off squeeze play to beat Lincoln, and you know they play good ball, and they play a lot of small ball. We expect them to bunt the ball when it's in situations. They're going to do everything they can to give their guys a chance to win. So it's going to be a fun ball game tonight for sure.
They played South Walton the other day, and they got tagged a little bit. You think that's going to have a little holdover? You think they're going to come out really fired up to prove something?
Well, I know they're going to be fired up. I mean, because, you know, we have our history with me being a coach there, and I still love those kids. I saw them last week, and, you know, some of the players that I coached last year, and they can't wait to play against us, and we can't wait to play against them, and it's always a rivalry game, so I know they're going to come out fired up. I don't think that South Walton loss is going to be weighing on their minds very much. They're going to be prepared for us.
Coach, I know you've talked in previous shows with us about, and every high school goes through this to some level, but it seems like at Bozeman, these kids are so into athletics, they play everything. And I know you had a couple of guys who were coming over from basketball. As much as, you know, 16, 17-year-olds can regenerate in 5 minutes, do you have to be wary of, you know, these kids coming in from basketball that's, you know, been so physically taxing on them? Do you kind of have to force them to slow down and walk their way into the season a little bit, or do you just kind of let them loose and go for it because they're young and can handle it?
Well, that's exactly where we are with Zach Slickcraft. You hit the nail on the head. You kind of have to rein him in a little bit, you know, because he was busy with basketball, and even though we tried to throw a bullpen every now and then, we did not press him on it. And he threw an inning for us against Mariana, looked really, really good. And we're just slowly rotating him back, getting him back into the rotation. And it's when he's ready. There's absolutely no pressure. I would have loved to throw him tonight, but I don't think that's going to work out for us. So, you know, we'll go to the next guy, and we'll do our best with him. But we definitely don't push, don't press to get them back until they're ready.
Now, he's an everyday player anyway, though, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's one of the best athletes on our team. He's our starting center fielder. He can play shortstop. He can play anywhere on the field, probably except for maybe catcher. And if in a bind, he would probably do fine behind the dish as catcher. But he's a phenomenal athlete and can play anywhere for us.
Yeah, I know you got some younger guys coming up that maybe stepped up a little bit. Do you have anybody's names or somebody that maybe you didn't think was going to be in the rotation or be one of those top players from that younger freshman, sophomore group? Because I know you guys always produce a lot of talent in those younger guys. Are there any names that stick out to you?
Yeah, we've got one sophomore. Well, and with us being such a senior-heavy team with 9 seniors, and we have 12 juniors on our team, it's really hard for a sophomore to step into that role. But we have one with Gavin Griswold. He's started in left field for us every game, and he does a phenomenal job out there. He's hitting the ball really well, putting the ball in play a lot. We also have another sophomore in Gage Simmett who pitches for us, and he's probably right now our number 2 pitcher. So our sophomores are definitely contributing to our success at the moment.
Well, Coach, great talking with you as always. Good luck tonight with Arnold coming into town. Get you a win, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all having us on.
Good luck, Coach.
There we go. Coach Norman there.
Does a good job. I didn't want to get
some
in.
big shoes to fill up there, but he's doing a great job.
He does a good
with
job.
it.
I saw Jeff the other night. He called the Bay High game. He was on the bases. So
very cool.
I didn't want to get into the football situation because
I thought about that because when Bozeman baseball played Mariana, it had to be either right before or right after the announcement. I wonder if there was a little extra in that game.
He could take over 2 positions. He could be the football and the
That's
baseball.
true.
So,
that's true.
Yeah, so
I'm a little surprised about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on with smaller schools in the state and everything like that, and
that's a great job he's going to.
Well, and the funny thing is
a lot of people
that,
think that's one of the top jobs in the state.
I mean, there are programs across the state where you have a new coach every year because of negatives. So I don't think it's that way at Bozeman. It's just the way it's played out.
Right.
With Griff and then Coach Sweat and then Coach Pettis and all like that. It's just been situational.
Yeah.
But, you think about the kids who are going to be seniors next year. It's going to be 4 head coaches in 4 years.
Yeah.
It's weird, but, but fortunately, like I said, they've all been good kind of moves. We've seen others in the area where it hasn't been so good and things like that. So, but I do love it up there. It's a really community feel of that school.
Definitely unique,
something else.
Especially in this day and age when transfers are so prevalent. Those guys want to play for Bozeman.
That's right. It starts in elementary school because they all know the coaches, they all know the athletes, and I know the football team used to go read on Fridays, game day, they'd go read to the elementary school.
Glenn liked dealing with the elementary kids because he felt tall.
I did. There was a couple of 6th graders that got me.
So he said, you're in middle school, I'm done with you. Well, let's talk about some more of our great sponsors here. How about Pepper's Mexican Grill there? Now we have one on the beach there on Back Beach Road over by where the old TGI Fridays used to be.
Right.
I had a wonderful meal there earlier this week. I love it. Great drink specials all the time. Really awesome atmosphere. Pepper's Mexican Grill. You can go see them in town. You can go see them on the beach and absolutely have a wonderful time. Dr. John Ward, dermatology specialists. If you have anything that kind of doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, changing color, make sure you get out and see him. Early detection is the key. Skin cancer will affect 1 in 5 people in their lifetime. Don't add to that statistic. Make sure that you go see Dr. John Ward and dermatology specialists. And we got the man here himself. I don't have to sit here and tout all his wares. Jason, talk to us about Max Fit Sports Nutrition.
We got actually a really cool event coming up that we're sponsoring with Anytime Fitness in Callaway and Beef O'Brady's. It's going to be a strongman contest. It's March 14th. It's 2-man teams. We're going to have like an Atlas ball carry, kind of like the old strongman contest. Fire truck pull. So the Callaway Fire Department's going to donate their truck to be able to pull it. A tire flip. So this is going to be March 14th, but there's going to be a lot of sponsors out there. Food. They're going to serve green beer because it's the week before St. Patty's Day. So it's going to be a huge event over in Callaway at the Anytime Fitness in Callaway. So mark your calendars if you want to get in this. It's a 2-man event. It's a strongman event. It's going to be March 14th at 2 p.m. at the Callaway Anytime Fitness.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And it sounds like
ready to go, Glenn? We ready to sign up? You going to be my partner?
Yeah, man. I'll drink the green beer you let
I was going to say, Glenn and Wildcat heard 12-ounce curls.
You got to put the 6-foot and underlip.
That's right. Listen, you can't insult me because I'm the vice president of Short Coaches of America Club.
Well, that sounds like a wonderful event there. That'll be cool. We come back, we're going to talk about tanking in professional sports and what our thoughts are on that. And, is it actually a good thing?
Do you have to wear scuba gear to tank?
We'll find out
NBA
next.
teams should.
Yeah, James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida is taking it to the hole. Your home for the most live college basketball in the Gulf Coast. The ACC, SEC, and the biggest games in the country. Plus the official station of March Madness.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
Hear every slam dunk in ultra-high fidelity right here.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Good luck surviving the offseason, football fans.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Football's over, it's like a part of me just died inside. 200 days till football's back, but tonight I won't just cry, cause I've got a ways to play. And that's the place with Hard Rock Bet, I will survive.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
He's a beacon of light to many and an inspiration to all.
These men need inspiration.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels studio.
They're motivated by Vicodin and Road Skank.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Well, the conversation this time in the break was a little cleaner.
Not much.
Because it's alcohol.
There you go. Oh, my God. Brian Hannett sitting in for Coach Hale again today on the Coach James Hale Show. Again, thanks to everybody for thoughts and prayers and everything. Everything is going well with Coach Hale. Hopefully he will be back in here on Monday. Joined today, as always, on Friday, Jim Barrett, Jay Skovalevsky, Glenn Manley, and the Wild Cat. So a story I was reading as it relates to the NBA, and that's, one of the topics we probably talk about women's hockey more on the show than we do the NBA.
Yeah, the morning show for sure.
But this notion of tanking is not limited to the NBA. It's more prevalent, I would say, in the NBA. But again, this is the idea that it's in your team's best interest, if you're not very good, to lose as much as possible, to go out of your way to purposely lose so that your draft pick, or in the NBA's case, your draft pick odds go up, so that you can improve your team. So it's an interesting kind of ideological discussion in that, the people who would say you should never tank, versus the people who say, no, you absolutely want to because it's going to make your team better. So I kind of want to just pass that around the room and thoughts in general on this idea and this notion, because I don't think it's as cut and dry as everybody wants to make it out to be. Jason?
No, but it is a slippery slope, because you're talking about bringing in revenue and pleasing fans, and when you're tanking, some of it's pretty obvious, and when you have your best players sitting on the bench, or they got injury or load management, and, I pay to go see the superstars in the game.
That's
if they're on the bench and you see some really bad basketball, and I think that's why the league maybe is not as popular as it was in the 90s and early 2000s. So it's a slippery slope. I understand why they do it. I think they need to revamp how they do the draft system, because so many teams in the NBA are tanking now because they want that. Because it's not like the NFL where you have like 40, 50 really good players where you can get one through the top first round.
Yeah, when you're playing five, one is a huge factor.
Right. When you're number one and there's a LeBron James coming out next year or a Cooper Flagg,
that's right.
A lot of teams are going to tank to try to snag that guy, because not only are they good on basketball, but they're marketable. They bring fans to the stadium. So it can make you a lot of money. But the problem is that season of tanking can really cost you quite a bit of revenue, and you could lose your fans doing it.
Glenn, one of the things more particular to football, it seems, because the careers are so short in general in football, that it would be an argument against tanking like that is these guys are playing for future jobs in a lot of cases, and they don't want to be a part of something where they're kind of going out of their way to lose and then hurting their ability to maybe get picked up by another team the following year.
Right. You know, the same thing I think is in basketball. If you're not the top 5 or 6 players, you know, every year when they make turnovers, you don't see the top 5 guys usually move. Mm-hmm. They get traded if they're, you know, like Green's, you know, a headache. But so those guys on the bottom tier, they're fighting every year to stay there, you know. So I think the tanking, to me, would hurt the bottom players.
Yeah.
And so, you know, even though they make quite a bit of money being the bottom players, still, you know, you're in there. You're the ones they think about moving around. So I think that's, you know, it comes down to, like we always say, follow the money. Where are they going to make the most money for that team, or the booster, not boosters, but the stockholders and all that, shareholders. And in football, definitely, because I tell you what happens with kickers. If you become really good at your craft and you start getting up there, okay, guess what? They're going to bring some guy in right out of college and give him the first 5 years, and bingo, you know, they set their cap because you're gone, you know, and you haven't done anything but improve. And so a point in case is these guys are kicking the 70-yard field goals now.
Yeah.
All right, so if you make 70-yard field goals all the time, you're going to want more money.
Yeah.
I've always said they're going to outlaw field goals at some point. They're just too easy.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to get to your own 40-yard line, and you got 3 points.
Hey, hell, the Ole Miss guy was like 7 of 8 this year, plus 50. I mean, that was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was great. Jim, Jason covered a lot of the entertainment angle of, and I thought he made a great point about, you know, you're paying your money, and these aren't $5 tickets.
No.
You know, to go see the Stars and all like that. But isn't there kind of a faithfulness, particularly on the coaching end of things, as it relates to integrity of the game and integrity of competition as it relates to this? Or am I just being hopelessly naive?
I don't think it's hopelessly naive. I mean, I would just have a hard time as a coach if let's talk about basketball, because that's the most obvious one, I think. Hey, you know, we want you to just like sit down LeBron and sit down James Harden and sit down Wembanyama and play your second string. Well, why do we got to do it? Well, because, you know, we don't want.
It's load management, though.
Because that affects the coach too. So now, am I going to still be around when we tank, and am I going to get a chance to coach the next great player that we're supposed? And there's no guarantee you're going to get him. That's the thing that doesn't make any sense. It's not like it's like the NFL, where if you're number one, you're guaranteed. You have the worst record, you're number one. In the NBA, you're one of like 6-7 teams that have a chance. That's not the same
That's
thing.
a lottery. So you got a percentage chance. You don't guarantee nothing, which is actually stranger because you see more tanking in the NBA than you do in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think. You know
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's just, I'm like, you know, I think the point you made about the fans is really legitimate. Because I lived in Cleveland for a while, you know, when the Cavaliers, and this is a long time ago, and the tickets weren't expensive then as they are now, but still, they were expensive. Could you imagine going with like 2-3 kids, hey, we're going to go see LeBron play, or we're going to see Will Chamberlain play, or whoever, you know, is coming to play against the Cavs, and they're sitting out just because I hate the term load management. I can already talk about it without cussing. I can't say what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding?
Right.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. You know, one thing that I think would help deal with this, and there have been a few proposals floated out, like once you're mathematically eliminated, your record from that forward, you know, points, so that the teams that once they're eliminated play the hardest and win the most games go. I don't know, but the U.S. is very unique internationally in that how we do drafts. In most other areas and most other sports, they're brought in through systems. They're basically acquired. It's not a draft process. But there's one thing that happens in international soccer that it's so exciting in the way that it plays out. I'd love to see it, but it's not in our American ethos, if you will, in terms of professional sports, and that's the promotion relegation system. I actually think it would work beautifully well at college football, but you know, it's kind of what it is. But that's essentially the scenario where there's 20 teams in the top league, And then every year, 3 teams will fall out of the top league, which is a giant money drop.
Right.
3 teams from the league below get promoted like that. And so there is a significant push not to drop.
Right.
And so there's no such thing as tanking when it comes to that. But could a system like that ever work in America, or is it just not in our DNA mentally?
You know, in high school in Hawaii, that's the way they do it. If you're in the top so and so, and you keep winning, then what they do is they drop you to down to the next step.
Classification.
And so then you play there 2 years, and then somebody gets to move up that's doing well at the top of that, and they move up, so then it starts moving around. So every 2 years you're going to change whether you're 1A, 3A, 5A. So, and then of course they have to travel a lot.
Yeah.
They fly to island, but they do some sort of thing like that too. So
I think it could work in basketball because they already have a developmental league, but NFL, I just don't see how they have that developmental league that would create those 3 teams at the bottom to be able to move up. I just think there's such a gap between even college or even an XFL or Canadian Football League that those guys probably couldn't compete anyway at any time. So
the more professional college football becomes, that could be the second level.
It might become even bigger.
You got to go back to school.
I mean, there's some quarterbacks that are staying in school that could be in the NFL this year. Beck, I mean, one of them. I don't know how successful he will be, but he'll be an NFL quarterback at some point. But he made $6 million this year playing at Miami versus where he would make $6 million maybe in his total contract.
Over
his
a rookie
year.
Yep.
I don't know. I love the concept because, and the other thing that they do, particularly in England with their soccer, which I watch a little bit, is on that last game day, all the games are at exactly the same time.
Oh, really?
So there's literally no, you can find out what happened here, kind of thing. So I can base it on that. And it is crazy how that goes. Now, there are some instances where games end a few minutes earlier, and you hear the fans in the stands because they're listening to it on the radio and they're going nuts. Like that. The players on the field start looking around, like something's going on. I don't think it would ever work here. I don't think that's in our kind of DNA makeup, but I do think it would help with it. It's just tanking is a very interesting discussion. It's tough. I do, kind of like we've all said, we understand why they do it and a faithfulness to your team. I just personally, I've always felt there's an integrity to the sport and to competition that has to override everything.
Right.
And I just don't think I can do it. It's too competitive.
And most of the time, this is coming from ownership or GM. So I don't think it really is going to be like, hey, we're tanking, but we're going to fire you because of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not because
Cuban talked about it.
Yeah, they're losing on purpose. Yep. And so the coach is not going to be fired for that unless they just have a terrible run and they don't believe in them and they want to make a change. But when you're telling your team not to win, I don't think that they're going to lose players or going to fire them because they told them not to win.
I feel like I always bring it back to the South Park, which is such a crude thing, but I love it. It's funny. I think they're ahead of the curve on things. Years ago, they did one where they did a thing where the boys were trying to lose Little League because they wanted to have the rest of their summer, and all the teams were trying to lose, and they were all competitive about, we're way worse than you. And like that, it was just hysterical.
They're hilarious.
Well, I wonder how this tanking affects Nevada and Las Vegas.
There you go.
There's
always money to be made.
Because now we got people shaving points and things in college, and so
even the NBA we saw that. So
well, I've gone way long here with this, so we're just going to head straight into the break here, and we'll talk about some more of our great sponsors coming back. You're listening to the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Set your alarm clock to wake up with the Coach Hale Show on ESPN Northwest Florida. In-depth local and college sports from expert insiders and a dash of controversy.
Can be deadly.
Weekday mornings 7 to 9.
Nothing says good morning like a drunken human alarm clock.
We're live from the J. Michael Studio.
We all know he loves the Florida Gators, but that's okay.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
I can control the world.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. A variety of light rain and slight fog this afternoon and evening with a wind coming out of the south-southwest around 10 miles per hour and the high of 72. Tonight, look for a variety of slight fog and very light rain with a temperature near 66. Tomorrow, a high around 74 and very light rain. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
At Brock Lawn and Pest Control, we're proud to be awarded the distinction of being Quality Pro certified.
Our technicians have passed rigorous training in eco-friendly application and prevention of pest treatments.
Part of the program is the practice of integrated pest management.
IPM's goal is to prevent pests from ever entering your home. It includes inspection, prevention, education, and, when necessary, application.
We're proud to be Quality Pro certified.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, the standard and level of trust.
I'd like to introduce.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
Milk was a bad choice.
If I could just have your attention.
60% of the time, it works every time.
If anyone wants to switch jobs, let me know.
Live from the J. Michael Studio.
I have many leather-bound books.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
State, Florida State, Florida State. Woo! FSU update brought to you as always here on the Coach James Hale Show by Newbies and all four of the wonderful, wonderful Newbies properties there. John and Charlotte do such a wonderful job, not only making sure we all have such a great time, but giving back to the community and everything that they do here. We absolutely love them. We absolutely love Newbies. Glenn loves it a little more than most of us, but no, we have a great time there at Newbies, and each one of them, the Mothership, Newbies 2 on the Curve, the Brew and Booze, and then the new one there. I said the newer one there in St. Andrews. So, guys, let's kind of get into a little bit of FSU here. Jim, what you got for us?
All right, well, I gave their week schedule on Tuesday. I was going to give an update here. Start with baseball. They beat Jacksonville, traveled to Jacksonville. Won, I think it was like 13-2 or something. It wasn't very competitive. And we talked about it the other day. We kind of laughed about it. Maybe Glenn having a little more info on this, being a Florida State guy more than I am. They're traveling to Arlington, Texas, and they're going to play today and tomorrow. They're going to play the same two teams. No, I'm sorry.
That's softball.
That's softball. I'm sorry. My bad. They're going to Arlington. They're going to play Michigan today, Auburn tomorrow, and then Nebraska on Sunday. That's for baseball, and I would expect them to win all three of those. I would think. I mean, Auburn might be able to give them a little cheat game, but the other two, I'm not sure. But the softball one, they're going to play Dartmouth and Alabama 2 days in a row. A doubleheader, 2 days in a row against the same two teams.
That's Dartmouth.
Dartmouth, okay. Dartmouth from the Ivy League. And when I saw it, I said, that can't be right. There's got to be am I looking at the right dates? And it is. So I don't know exactly what the logic is there, but that's what they're doing.
I think Dartmouth, and then they're playing Elon on Sunday. Dartmouth is making the Southern tour because it's cold.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what they're doing. And so we'll see what goes with that. But, how would you like to? I'm going to get to play in the sunshine, but I'm playing the number 6 team in the nation. So I was like, okay. But now Alabama and FSU softball, they always play each other because the coaches know each other quite well. So they come here, and next year we'll go there.
Okay.
And so they've done this for the last 8 or 9 years, I think so.
And then in men's basketball, they're kind of playing a lot better.
A little better, yeah.
Yeah, they're 13-13. They beat Boston College the other day, but they have Clemson tomorrow. And Clemson is pretty good. So
really good barometer where they're at, and if they can actually maybe make the NIT. I know they want to make the tournament, but they'd have to win the ACC tournament. But winning the NIT, your first year, first coach, getting some extra games and practicing would actually be a successful season, in my opinion, for the first year.
Oh yeah,
because he's a brand new coach. I mean, coaching the NBA,
and he inherited people that were like the one and done, or they wanted more NIL money. The other thing too is. They'll have to run a little bit they have to win at least 2 games, I think, in the tournament in order to get to the NIT.
Right, yeah.
So, but right now they're back to 13-13, and they ended up being like 6-7 for the ACC.
Beat Miami, which was like 17-14 or 4 at the time. So they've been playing really well under their new coach, Jai Lucas.
Glenn, do you know this? In the ACC, does everybody make the basketball tournament, or you got to be in the top whatever?
I think it's the top 12. And out of the 16, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's it.
I might have to look that up and find that out.
I haven't. Because the one year I thought Florida State could win a national tournament, they had the COVID right in the middle of the game. They were warming up and they pulled them off the court.
I honestly, I really thought they were going to win it that year. That was a great team.
All right. So, and then girls or women's basketball, they're kind of struggling. They've only won 9 games. I don't see them doing much of anything just because of what their record is.
Right.
So we'll see.
But and the swimming dive team won the ACC title, and then the golf team is doing well. The women's golf team, they won the tournament, and the girl, or the sophomore, Fallbrook, she made a hole-in-one, her first one of her career.
Cool.
So that was good. So they were playing over there in Melbourne.
It kind of ties into where I wanted to go with this question. I'm just kind of curious to all of our thoughts. Obviously, we very local to FSU, and we have a love for that program. As an athletic department, you do have more sports than football and basketball, but obviously football primarily, basketball to an extent, drive the bus. They're the ones that fund everything else and all like this. And Florida State has had, other than the 13-0 year where they got left out of the playoff, has had a rough go at football, and basketball really since not getting to play in the tournament in 2020 has had a rough go in basketball. And so overall, what are your impressions right now of where Florida State's athletic department is? Do you put a lot of stock in the fact that women's soccer has done well, baseball has done well, softball has done well, everything like that, but the big ones aren't? Or the fact that the 2 big ones are really struggling, the athletic department is struggling?
Man, I think of Florida State, I think the athletic department's in shambles, to be quite honest. They're in a huge debt. They just put a lot of money in the new stadium. The football team, they just don't have the NIL to compete. They don't have the money to buy out the coach that really just hasn't done well over the last 2 years. I mean, if you look at where Bobby Bowden had this program to where it is now, I mean, it's a very, very steep decline. And I hate to say that because I thought that 13-0 season, they deserved to play in the playoffs and a chance for a national championship. And when that got taken away, it felt like it sucked the air out of the program. And then that Alabama job opened up. They renegotiated Norvell's contract, gave him that huge buyout, huge contract. And now, no matter what happens, you're going to be stuck with them another year, maybe 2, because that $15 million buyout on top of the debt they took on to build the stadium just left that program a little bit in disarray. So, football and basketball are king, and I love they're doing have success in other sports, and baseball is huge. It's getting a lot bigger. To me, it's closing the gap to basketball, in my opinion, because it's very exciting to watch. Softball is very exciting to watch, but the money drivers are basketball and football. So just because of those 2 sports being a little bit down, I don't see a very rosy outlook for the next few years.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you in most of that, but if you'll go, see, they started some new programs. They started beach volleyball, which is done quite well, and they start lacrosse, which is really 3-1 or something like that. But again, the money drives what happens. But if you go back and you look, like softball and baseball carry their own weight.
Right.
For sure. So, and then track, I don't know how much you charge for track, but, they've been successful, and swimming and diving. And but I just think if you can stabilize the big 2, I think, have a successful season. Doesn't have to be a national championship, but if you are successful, say get in the playoffs or get in some bowl games and or make the actual 12-team playoff, then you got something to build on.
I thought they needed to get out of the ACC. If they're in the Big Ten or SEC right now, they're making $30-40 million more a year, and then you're closing that gap on the Alabamas, Ohio States, the Georgias, because revenue sharing is going to a big thing on how do you build your roster now and how you distribute it among the other sports. But they're getting $30-40 million less through the ACC than the Big Ten and the SEC teams are. That's a huge gap over 10 years. That's a $300-400 million gap.
It's so weird, Jim. In several things, I think they've been 3 to 5 years on the wrong side of so many different things. The ACC decided to do this long-term contract deal right before everybody was coming up. It was a terrible idea. So they were, early and wrong. Then, Jimbo complained for years about the facilities, where the facilities were everything when it came to recruiting. So they finally put a plan in place, but they were about 3 to 5 years late. So they go do that, go into horrendous debt in a time where you need all this liquid cash, to go out and do the NIL. And so it's the weirdest thing. It's like they're trying to do the right thing, but they're 3 to 5 years late on it.
It's funny you say that, because just yesterday I saw a post that somebody put on there about Florida State's equipment room. Holy Toledo. You ought to... Man, it looks like Macy's department store.
Oh, really?
I mean, they've got every kind of shoe, every kind of jersey, every kind of helmet. It just... You talk about facilities, and like you say, Jimbo complained, we don't have facilities. Well, man, you got them now.
Yeah.
Right. And that's going to be a big key moving forward if a new coach is brought in.
But I don't know that, like you say, that's a good way to put it. I don't know that that's the key anymore, is to have those kind of funny, sparkly things, for all the guys. And we want different helmet every game, different pants, different shit.
As they say in the motorcycle world, chrome don't get you home.
Right. Not anymore. It was 10 years ago. But now, with NIL,
timing is everything.
It doesn't matter what your facilities look like, because if I offer you $2 million and this team's offering you $750, where are you going to go?
Yeah.
I don't care if you live in a double-wide trailer and working out in the grass. If you offer me $2 million, and that's going to change my family's life,
you're right.
That's where I'm going. Well, Miami has terrible facilities, to be honest. The stadium's like 45 minutes from campus. They have to bus to the stadium. It's not a great situation, but look at the team they built with NIL.
Yep. Well, the other thing too, a lot of the shoes and helmets and stuff, those are contracts that are given to them by Nike and Under Armour and all that. But the other thing too is, guess what the commissioner did? Miami got to keep all of their money.
Right.
So, everybody else is having to divide it.
Yeah.
And so Miami wasn't in there with Clemson and Florida State about getting on to...
Yeah. I didn't understand that.
No.
If I was Florida State, I'd be highly mad.
Right. Well, let's talk about some more of our great sponsors here. Again, thanks to Newbies for sponsoring the FSU Update. We love them at Newbies. TK Vandy Roofing and Contracting. Hate that we don't have Kyle in here today, but Glenn's holding down the seat. Kyle's out.
I hadn't yelled or screamed enough, but I'll do it.
But seriously, you have any kind of needs of roofing or general contracting needs, Kyle Vandegrift and the crew at TK Vandy, they are the absolute best. Make sure you call them today. Cox Pools, love having Cox Pools back around here, and we all know that Richard, they do the best job in the world. You get you a great little pool for the backyard. You have a nice barbecue out there. The great thing is they can do like special designs on pools there. You just want a pool that's in the FSU logo, just put in your backyard.
Yep.
Yeah, they can work on that too. But Cox Pools are great.
They like to do Alabama best, though, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't forget the maintenance part of it.
Oh, and the maintenance, absolutely. You need to make sure that you keep that pool looking right. You don't want the green pool the way Jason's got the green beard. And then Turf Pro Pest Control, Patrick Garner and the crew do the absolute best job in the world to make sure your yard is the talk of the neighborhood for all the right reasons. Call them now. Don't wait till it's too late, till those pests and insects have gone out and ravaged your yard. Make sure that you call Turf Pro Pest Control and make sure that your lawn looks as good as Augusta National in April. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jeff Spiegel, ABC 3340, about all the goings on with the Alabama Crimson Tide. You're listening to the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz.
See, I'm more of an old school mentality. I believe in tradition. I believe in loyalty to a program, to a system, to an organization. Everybody's a flash in the pan, microwave type society now and everything, and they want overnight success.
The Sports Blitz.
Live and local, weekdays, 4 to 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. A variety of light rain and slight fog this afternoon and evening with a wind coming out of the south-southwest around 10 miles per hour and the high of 72. Tonight, look for a variety of slight fog and very light rain with a temperature near 66. Tomorrow, a high around 74 and very light rain. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Looking to upgrade your truck? It's Blue Diamond Truck Accessories in Panama City. They sell, service, and install it all. Light kits, bed covers, bumpers, winches, lift kits, and any trailer hitch you can imagine. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, just west of Frankfurt Avenue on 15th Street. Find Blue Diamond Truck Accessories on Facebook or call 850-914-0265. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, 850-914-0265.
WGSX Lynn Haven, W Field, Q Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. Stop by Bill Bird Kia during the President's Day sales event going on now and drive away in a new Kia. Now offering 0% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Telluride. There are a few left on the lot, so stop by for a test drive. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The road is yours. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll give you the perfect peace of mind that you can trust. Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Telluride with $20.83 per month per $1,000 financed in 48 months. Quantities limited, no down payment required. Cannot combine with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers must take delivery from dealer stock through 3/2/26.
He doesn't try on clothes at the department stores. He just rips stuff off the hanger and lives with the consequences for years.
It's classy, it's intriguing.
He's sexy, sassy, and full of spunk.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels Studio. ESPN Northwest Florida. And now from the J. Michaels Studio, the Alabama Auburn Update.
Roll Tide, y'all.
With Jeff Spiegel, sports anchor from Birmingham, Alabama's ABC 3340. The Alabama Auburn Update every Friday morning on the Coach Hale Show on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Alabama Update brought to you every single day here on the Coach James Hale Show, despite the fact that none of these yahoos would join me. Thank you, Wildcat.
I said low tide.
Yes, you did. Stevenson Air Conditioning. We love Jason and the crew there at Stevenson Air Conditioning. They do a wonderful job. Great service, great maintenance. If you need a new unit, they're going to come out and make sure that you get the one that's absolutely right for you. They're not going to upsell you. Don't go national. Go local. Stevenson Air Conditioning, #1. I love sitting in for Coach on Fridays, not just hanging out with you guys, but we get to talk to the man himself. 3340 ABC in Birmingham, Jeff Spiegel. Jeff, how are you doing on this Friday?
Doing great. Got my shirt off, getting a suntan up here. It's incredible weather in Alabama.
Sun's out, guns out.
There you go. That's the way it is.
Be careful. You have to see Dr. Ward.
Well, Jeff, we're actually going to start over on the hardwood there. Alabama, of course, over the last couple of weeks, so much of the talk has been what's happened in the courtroom instead of on the hard court with the Charles Bediako situation. In a weird way, we don't need to get into what our thoughts were on the whole deal again. We've been through that. But in a weird way, has the fact that it's now been resolved and kind of put to bed and this, that, or the other, or at least as much as you can with the courtroom, has Alabama been able to now just kind of settle in with the guys that they've had? Because they've been on a nice run here of 5 straight wins, including the overtime victory over Arkansas.
Well, I think it was a risk that Nate Oates took in bringing Bediako back, and he never admitted this, but it was a distraction for his team.
Yeah.
Because everybody was talking about it, and you can be in denial all you want, but the results tell the story. And now that Bediako's gone and in the rearview mirror, I mean, it's incredible how no one's talking about him now. I mean, no one's talking about this guy now, especially after a 117-115 double overtime victory over Arkansas. Bediako is so far in the rearview mirror, especially after Aiden Sherrill scores 26 points and gets 13 rebounds.
Yeah.
It's like, and we knew Sherrill was just capable of, of playing that role. that Bediako played. Yeah, it gave them 2 bigs, but it didn't really help Alabama that much. They were 3-2 when he was in the lineup, and now they've won 5 games in a row, and they look like they're really cooking.
It was weird because there was some chatter in this, that, or the other, but it was like the Florida game was really the zenith of it, I think, when you had all the G League dropout chants and all like that. Is it one of those situations where, maybe Sherelle, maybe those other guys, they kind of realized, okay, we got to step up our game and fill in here because coach is going out and trying to bring players back in. Is it one of those cases where it's like everybody's making fun of us because we've had this whole issue? That's going to be our rallying cry to come together as a team.
Well, I think the players respected Nate Oates' decision because he was looking out for one of his own.
Sure.
And the players appreciate that. As much as people want to criticize these guys for now that they're making money, maybe they're a little soft, and all that. I think these guys appreciate when a coach sticks up, for one of their guys.
Sure.
And I think the chemistry was pretty good, with those guys. But I think it was, it was just a case where now, he's not a distraction for the team anymore. They're locked in. They're so focused. This team is so skilled offensively that the only hang up for them going down the stretch, I think, is going to be the ability or the lack thereof sometimes to defend. And you give up 49 points to a guy and you still win. You count your blessings after that, and then you say, well, we got to lock down from here on out, or we may not be in the NCAA tournament that long.
Yeah, no, that's true. And, I looked at the score at halftime when they had given up 57 in the first half. I was like, uh-oh, this doesn't look real good. Ironically, you talk about the stretch run here, 5 more regular season games. Of the 5 remaining, only Tennessee is in the top half of the SEC. You have LSU. Now you do have 3 of those games on the road, but LSU, Mississippi State, Tennessee, but then at Georgia, and you finish with Auburn. And I know there's no easy game in the SEC, but in terms of the schedule and kind of keeping some momentum running, I think they've got it in front of them to really have a good run through to the finish to the SEC and then into the NCAA tournament.
Well, there is an easy game Saturday. LSU is just bloody awful.
Yeah.
They're just so terrible. They're 2-11 in the league. And, if there's a gimme on the schedule the rest of the way, it's LSU. Now, if you gave up 49, Wednesday was so amazing because Acuff goes for 49, Philon goes for 35, and it's like Josh Hubbard was watching the game or something. And he goes, okay. Yeah. Well, let me show you what I can do. And he knocks down 9 3-pointers in the first half and has 35 in the first half.
Yeah.
And so the guard play in this league is just off the charts good. And that's the only game I see that's a real gimme is LSU Saturday. 4-1 I think is very, very doable, coming down the stretch here.
Looking ahead, let's switch back gears because this is the Coach James Hale Show. Let's switch back into football because it's football all year.
The only sport that matters.
Exactly. I'm looking at the schedule and, open against East Carolina, then at Kentucky. Sorry, Wildcat. There's just not much there. You've got the revenge game against Florida State, and then you got, South Carolina, Mississippi State. There is a stretch here for Alabama, though, that looks pretty rough. Starting October the 10th, you've got Georgia coming to town. The next week, you go for the 3rd Saturday in October to Knoxville, play Tennessee. The very next week, you have Texas A&M coming to town. Then you get a week off. You go to Baton Rouge, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but you go to Nashville for Vanderbilt. That run of 5 games in 6 weeks, boy, that's going to be something else there for Coach DeBoer and the crew.
Yeah, I want to see how good Vanderbilt is now that Diego Pavia's got it.
Sure.
Were they just like a flash in the pan? How good of a coach is Clark Lee? Because, Diego Pavia was just a tremendous talent at quarterback. Love him or hate him, the guy was pretty good at what he did. I think this is a critical year for Kalen DeBoer. And I wouldn't say that were it not for a 38-3 beatdown they got, in the last game of the year. And that game still sticks, with Alabama fans. And, I mean, if he comes out and has a mediocre year, listen, even if you get in the playoff, I mean, how many NFL coaches get fired after making the playoffs?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we come down to in college football now. Even getting to the playoff may not be good enough for Kalen DeBoer. So it's one of those years where he's got to make a deep run, I think, this year to kind of win back the fan base and show people that he's capable of doing this job.
Yeah, Jeff, Coach Manley here. The FSU game, the 19th, I think, of September, that's the make or break for both of those coaches. I think if he loses again to FSU, I think they may go ahead and set his house on fire. Because at Auburn they put for sale signs in your yard. So, but I just think that's going to be make or break also for Norvell. I just think that's very important.
Well, I agree, and I think, Norvell may get a pass, because it's in Tuscaloosa, but DeBoer's not going to get a pass if he loses to Florida State at home. I mean, that could be that's going to send things downhill in a hurry. So, you talked about that critical stretch. It's going to be even more of a critical stretch, if he loses that game. I don't see them doing it, but it's just there's so many things to look at, and it all depends on the quarterback play.
Yeah.
If they get the quarterback thing right, the Keelan Russell, Austin Mack competition, if they get that right and they get good quarterback play, then I think it could work out pretty well for DeBoer. But if they don't, if they have issues there, because the quarterback handles the ball 100% of the time, it could be a tough year for him.
That's the question I was going to ask you. It's probably unfair because it's too early to have any actual probably discussion or evidence or anything like that. We're not even to spring ball yet, but just your gut feel. Where do you think they're going to go week one? Do you think it's going to be Mack, or do you think it's going to be Russell?
I think it's going to be Russell. I think we've got a small sample size here, but in my opinion, I mean, it looks like he's got more upside, and this whole talk about it's too early to discuss the quarterback situation. It's never too early to discuss the situation in Alabama. We're going to be talking about this all the way up to September 5th when they kick off the season. So that'll be very intriguing, and we'll see how that pans out.
And you're going to hear it's neck and neck, so they don't lose one of them up until game day.
I used to laugh. I mean, the backup quarterback on every college campus used to always be the most popular at Alabama. I mean, they hated Jay Barker. Brian Bergdorf was the savior. Then he started. Then it was the next guy. And it just always drove me nuts. But, Jeff, hang on with us through the break. When we come in, we're going to talk about we're going to go across state and talk about Auburn here. Again, talking to the great Jeff Spiegel, ABC 3340 in Birmingham. Want to thank J. Michael's Restaurant there. And do a wonderful job every single day. Today is the Chris Fish special for lunch. Get out there and enjoy that. Steve's Bike Shop on 23rd Street. Regular bike, electric bike, right across from Sam's. Get out and see Steve's now. Again, want to thank Steverson Air Conditioning for their sponsorship of the program. And, John, we need jewelry. Where are we going?
Yes, sir. As I said before, whether you're thinking about getting married this spring or you're thinking about how are you going to keep from getting a divorce this spring, David Adamson Designer Jewelry is your place to shop. Take advantage of their free jewelry inspection and free jewelry cleaning. One-of-a-kind, handcrafted jewelry. All of the repairs are done right there in shop. David Adamson Designer Jewelry, 830 Highway 77 in Lynn Haven.
When we get back, more with Jeff Spiegel. We're going to talk about the Auburn Tigers and what's going on the Plains. You're listening to the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Wanted to reach out and smack someone?
You can't fix stupid, but you can divorce it.
A new sports blitz. Rants, hot takes, and huge reactions are incoming.
And on behalf of 70% of the Alabama fan base,
feel the burn.
We want a damn divorce.
The Red 17 studio line.
You cannot give LSU extra opportunities.
850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida.
He has not turned the ball over.
Get it again.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. A variety of light rain and slight fog this afternoon and evening with a wind coming out of the south-southwest around 10 miles per hour and the high of 72. Tonight, look for a variety of slight fog and very light rain with a temperature near 66. Tomorrow, a high around 74 and very light rain. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Small acts of kindness make a massive impact. This February, you can help Humble House Ministries continue their vital work in our community. They're collecting essential supplies all month long and need your help with donations of laundry detergent, dish soap, shampoo, and conditioner. Plus office supplies like copy paper, cardstock, and envelopes. Drop off your donations Monday through Friday at Elysian Med Spa on Thomas or Reliable Copy Products on Harrison. Help support Humble House Ministries. Together, you're sharing more than just supplies. You're sharing hope.
You've been low-key thinking about dropping a podcast. Well, now is the time to start, brah. Sports, politics, finance, science, health, real estate, music, interviews, surfing, conspiracy theories, or alien abductions. Ready to main character your own content? We can make it happen with Turnkey Podcast Productions from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Our local, modern, state-of-the-art multimedia recording studio is now available for booking, starting at just $100 an episode. Take your fandom to the next level. For more information, text the keyword studio to 850-215-6290. Text studio to 850-215-6290. Text studio 215-6290 or jam over to ESPNPC.com. Bruh.
I don't always talk to Alabama fans, but when I do, I ask for large fries. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Auburn update brought to you by Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. Pat Perno and the crew up there at Beef O'Brady's know how to get it done. They have the best staff. They got TVs everywhere, great food. They got onion rings for the Wildcat. They got all kind of great stuff. So after you're done with David Adamson Jewelry, get over to Beef O'Brady's there in Lynn Haven. Have a great meal, watch some sports, and thank them for their sponsorship of the Auburn Update.
I was going to ask Jeff one question. You know, this Alabama's coming to FSU to play softball this weekend, and they usually play every year. I think they swap home and home, but that's always a good series.
Oh, yeah, and Alabama's off to a great start. They've got this freshman pitcher, Vic Moten, who's just mowing people down. So it's just that should be very entertaining. Yeah, I mean, to me, I prefer college softball over college baseball.
I do too, because
it's quicker. Yeah, the game's faster paced.
Yeah. I played that in the Air Force, and when you watch baseball games, you can play cards between the pitches. But FSU is one of the two teams in the United States that did not bring in any transfer portal kids on their softball team.
Wow, is Dabo Sweetie coaching them?
Well, they have seven. They have seven or eight
a good team
freshman All-Americans, and 5 of them were Gatorade Player of the Year in their state.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's
good
cool.
matchup.
Well, Jeff, we're going to head over to the Plains here and talk about Auburn. We just talked about Alabama on a 5-game win streak. Unfortunately, Auburn's got the exact opposite. They're on a 5-game losing streak here, and it's kind of one of those situations where you can almost see it in the players' faces. It's like they're anticipating what's going to go wrong next. They go to Starkville, not an easy place to play. I mean, I went to school there for way too long, many years. And but the Hump is a tough place to play, and Hubbard was unconscious. But Auburn finds himself down 18 early in the second. They claw all the way back, take the lead, go up by 7.
Wow.
Jeff, with about 4 minutes to go, and then find a way to not get it done. Mississippi State gets a win. Auburn now definitely in that, I would say, bubble range, if not outside looking in. What's going on the Plains?
Yeah, well, they're definitely on the bubble. And Stephen Pearl said it himself after the game Wednesday that they got to win. They got to win Saturday. I mean, they've got to win this game against Kentucky. And that's a very difficult situation to find yourself in when you have to beat Kentucky to get into the NCAA tournament, because Kentucky is Kentucky. As Wildcat knows, especially in basketball. And listen, they're coming off back-to-back losses, so they're not in a good mood either.
Yeah.
You know, those people don't like to lose. Those people don't like one-game losing streaks. You know, much less two.
I saw an interview with Coach yesterday on local news in Lexington, and they are in the right frame of mind. They're up, they're pumped, they're ready to go. So, Auburn, sorry about your luck.
He's been into the jug this morning, Joe.
If they lose that game to Kentucky, I mean, not even beating Alabama at the end is going to save them.
Yeah,
and that'd be tough for Stephen. I mean, because it's just, look, there was enough pressure. I mean, just following whoever, but you're following your dad, who's the winningest coach in Auburn basketball history. And then, to me, it compares almost to, the UAB situation where Gene Bartow retired and then handed the reins over to his son Murray. And Murray lasted, I don't know, maybe 5 years or something like that. But, it just didn't work out, in the end for him. And the pressure was just enormous to try to keep it going. And the same here. And look, if they don't make the NCAA tournament, I mean, the pressure's really ratcheted up on him for next season.
That's actually where I was going to and I was thinking, well, I'd forgotten about the Bartow situation, because I remember I grew up in Mobile, so South Alabama UAB was a big thing back then, and I'd forgotten. There was a similar one with Florida State with baseball, and kind of got left to the sun. It was kind of orchestrated, and it was really difficult, obviously, following. I guess my question is, it's an indelicate kind of situation, so I'm just going to ask it. It appears to me Bruce Pearl engineered this to make sure his son got the job. And is there a sense of that as they kind of go on the streak, they might miss the tournament? Are the fans at Auburn starting to get a little up in arms over it? Or do you think they're just kind of like, we still like Stephen Pearl, we should be a little better? But I'm just wondering, anytime you see those kind of, nepotism's probably too strong a word, but those kind of engineered coaching changes to where people don't feel like they had a say, do you think the Boo Birds are really out and there might be some real trouble for Pearl in the offseason if they don't make the tournament?
Well, there's making the tournament is the expectation now.
Yeah.
I mean, Bruce Pearl has raised the expectation level to the point where, making the tournament is what you do at Auburn. And it's so, and maybe you don't appreciate how difficult it is to get there, but it's really hard to get there.
It is.
But that's the expectation level now, and he's got to do it. So, and we'll see how Auburn handles the pressure, against one of the Blue Bloods. And that game Saturday night, I'm glad it's in prime time, because, that's where it deserves to be, because there's so much drama surrounding that game. With both programs, really. Because, Mark Pope's on the hot seat, every time they throw the ball up, every game. So, he's going through some stuff, too.
Absolutely right.
Do you think the success they had last year with, of course, they lost so much talent off that team. Broome was a player of the year candidate, but were they 5-6 points from maybe being a national champion, and now you come back and maybe miss the tournament? Do you think that has a lot to do with it? Because they did lose a lot of talent, but it is a first-year coach. But you know how it goes in Alabama, Auburn. There's not a lot of patience for not winning when you have that kind of success built in.
That's so true, and the energy is kind of there. There's not as much energy in the jungle, now. No, we'll see what happens Saturday night. Those fans should be fired up and all that. I also think suspending your star player, for the Arkansas game, I think is something that Stephen felt like he had to do.
Right.
Because, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what the inside story is on that. But, he benched him for the last 12 and a half minutes of the Vanderbilt game. and then something happened, and then so he benched him, for the game, against Arkansas, and I think that's something that Stephen felt like he had to do to kind of teach a lesson, to Keyshawn, and then he came out and he responded, pretty well in the game against Mississippi State. So, I think Stephen Pearl has done a pretty good job this year in terms of navigating through all this first-year pressure and all that. But the bottom line is you got to win. You got to win games. And 5-game losing streaks right now with this program is totally unacceptable.
Just briefly, while we've got you here, Jeff, any kind of preview on Auburn baseball? I know they got blanked the other night against Cincinnati, but early season baseball is what it is. What's the outlook for Auburn baseball this year?
Well, the coaches who are pretty knowledgeable, about their own programs, they picked them to finish 5th in the league.
Yeah.
And they're way up there in the poll. I think they were 5th when they played Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. And look, you can't read too much into these midweek games.
That's right.
You're throwing guys, that you don't throw on the weekend, and strange things can happen, in those midweek games. No knock against Cincinnati and how good the Bearcats are at baseball, but the weekends, are the true test. And I think Auburn's going to be really good when it's all said and done.
When they play FSU Saturday, so
in Texas,
that'll be a little test for both schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But I think they're really good. I love Butch Thompson. I think he's a great coach, and yeah, they'll be right there at the end.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, as always, enjoyed talking with you. Be careful now, because there's been a James Hale sighting in your area. You might be eating lunch, and all of a sudden you see an extra bill there show up for you. Be careful.
Hey, I have one quick. Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Go ahead. I got one quick question. In Florida, there's about 5 districts now that are charging kids to play sports. Have you heard anything about any district in Alabama doing that?
Listen, we had kids play sports here at Pelham High School. Mm-hmm. People have been paying for their kids to play sports for years.
Wow.
It's expensive. It's expensive to put a kid through an athletic program. I mean, there are so many fundraisers to pay for, equipment and trips and things like that. So. Yeah. No, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, they're just charging like $50 per player per sport, and limited $200 a family.
It's so expensive. IMG got the cartel involved.
IMG got fined $1.7 million.
Which leads me to think that maybe we do need to have NIL for high school.
There you go.
Start paying some of these kids and these parents.
Yeah. Here's what I think: they should take the $1.7 million fine for IMG and pay for all the Pinellas and Hillsborough County kids.
There you go.
Jeff, as always, love talking with you there, and we'll talk at you again next Friday.
Appreciate y'all. Have a good weekend.
Thanks,
Be great. Jeff Spiegel, Birmingham, ABC 3340 there, joins us every Friday on the Coach James Hale Show. I want to talk about Pepper's Mexican Grill again. I had a wonderful time there. It is fantastic. Those of you in town have known about it for years. Now we have one on the beach, so get out and see them today. Dr. John Ward, dermatology specialists. Don't become a skin cancer statistic. Early detection is the key, and you can get that done at Dermatology Specialist with Dr. John Ward. And Jason, talk to us again about MaxFit. I know you got the big event coming up.
Yeah, we also got another event coming up. Our semi-pro football team, the Panama City Panthers, are going to have their kickoff classic Saturday, February 28th. So that's going to be next Saturday at the Gavlac Sports Center. So that's going to be at Arnold. It starts at 6 o'clock. They, I think, either won or finished second in the league last year. So these are a great group of guys. They train here locally. They're local football players that either have moved on from college or whatever, but they're a semi-pro football team, Panama City Panthers. If you want to play or if you want to be a sponsor, just contact MaxFit Sports Nutrition, or you can go to their Facebook page, Panama City Panthers, and can sign up. But let's get a lot of people out there and support them, because this is a great outlet for guys that maybe didn't make the highest levels of college but want to still continue their career and play some good football. And it's always fun to see live football. So Saturday, February 28th at the Mike Gavlac Sports Center, Panama City Panthers. Go out there and support these guys.
Do you have a cost on that, or
I don't, but I think we're going to have a couple of the players and maybe a coach on next week, and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Good. That's a good play. You need to go out and watch. It is good football.
Yeah, they're good football. These are professionals. They actually have a really, really high-level quarterback. I believe he played at Vanderbilt or something, so they're going to be really good this year.
Very good. When we come back, there's a new poll out. You know, we do those on this show.
Alabama.
The top 100 quarterbacks of the 2000s.
Nick Saban.
And number one might make your head spin. You got to stick around to find out. Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your spot for college basketball.
And it goes in at the buzzer. Got it.
Listen to select games from the LSU Tigers, Florida Gators, the Auburn Tigers, and the biggest games around the country play here.
Three-pointer, punch it in. Oh, you saw that coming, Rap.
The most live college basketball on the Panhandle.
Game is over.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
Are you living with chronic pain, anxiety, or sleepless nights? You don't have to just get by. You deserve to thrive. At Thrive Alternative Medicine on Panama City Beach Parkway, Dr. Laughlin and counselor Suzanne Clark provide a compassionate path to relief. From medical marijuana card certifications to professional mental health counseling, managing conditions like PTSD, chronic pain, and the complexities of cancer. Book online at thrivealternativemedicine.com. thrivealternativemedicine.com. Find the relief you deserve.
Find something you love with great deals this month at Panama City Toyota. Get 1.99% APR on a new Camry, rated best midsize car by Kelley Blue Book. Plus, 90 days until you make your first payment. Get 2.49% APR on the Rocket Tacoma. Plus, 90 days until your first payment. And get 2.49% APR on the powerful Tundra. Plus, 90 days until your first payment. Come check out our showroom or browse online at Panama City Toyota.
Offer expires March 2nd. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
With over 4 decades in business, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to take your collection to the next level. All new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia and supplies, new and vintage cards, and Pokemon. Buy, sell, and trade. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards inside the Stanford Station on 23rd Street next to Academy Sports. Come see the bigger store and the larger inventory, or visit online, instantReplaySportsCards.com.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm not prepared. I really am not prepared at all.
I hope you won't judge me on one email I sent 10 years ago.
My apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Live from the J. Michael Studio.
Not after spicy your food nibble.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hard rocking here on a Friday. That's right.
The final stretch.
There you go. Welcome to the Coach James Hale Show. Brian Haddad sitting in for Coach, who should be back on Monday, joined by Jim Durant and Glenn Manley and Jason Kowaleski and the Wildcat himself. So we like to do these during the off season. We like to get into these polls and argue about certain things. And ESPN has just put out, and I mean just put out, a list of what they consider the 100 greatest college football quarterbacks of the 2000s. So guys, we're going to jump right in. And as we all know, they love to get clicks.
Yeah.
And so you do certain things to that to make sure you get your, appropriate level of engagement and argument. So we're going to start. I'm just going to spot hit a few guys here as it goes. And again, this is how they did in college. So there will be some pro quarterbacks maybe who you would think would be higher on the list, but whatever. But I want to start at number 100 because I cannot believe how far down the list this guy is. At 100, J.J. McCarthy, Michigan. Now, we can think what we want about his NFL career to date, but the guy won a national championship at Michigan, was pretty solid. Certainly there's not 99 better players than him, right?
Yeah, I'm not in the J.J. McCarthy fan club, but I'm with you. I would think he would be higher up than that. I mean, like you say, he did win a national championship regardless of how they did it, cheating. But
and the Minnesota Vikings invested a first-round pick in him.
Yeah, so that seems way too low.
Yeah, to me, I think it's a no-brainer that he's better than Bryce Petty, Trayvon Boykin, Taj Boyd, B.J. Simmons.
Yeah.
Those are the 5
three
guys
of the
right
four,
in
you probably don't even know where they played.
No, right. Absolutely.
Exactly right. So I'm going to get through another one. Interesting one here, Glenn, for you. Mackenzie Milton at number 90, UCF Florida State. Obviously, after the injury, didn't do a ton at Florida State, but I think a lot of people forget he was really solid at UCF.
He was, when he was at UCF. But, gosh, 95, you say? What is he? What did he got him ranked?
90th.
90th?
Yeah.
I guess if you look back at the last part, but he did come in and win a game for FSU, just for him to come back and play after that injury. I think 90's probably okay, maybe dropping down to 80 or something, but I don't.
But would you trade his college career for J.J. McCarthy as much as, I'm not a fan either?
That's right.
But the guy won a national championship, but started for 3-4 years almost. I mean, he got drafted in the first round.
Yeah, he should be down in the top.
Right. I would say top 30, 40.
Some fun ones in the 80s. We have Braxton Miller at 89. They're for Ohio State. Okay, a lot better than him. 87, Shadur Sanders. How's he so low? He had his number retired, for crying out loud. At 86, Carson Beck. Now, never won necessarily a national championship as a starting quarterback, but I don't know. Pretty good run he had this year leading to that game. Everybody talks about the last pick. Carson Beck helped get them to where they were.
Oh, he played great through the playoffs. And he's not a, Dan Marino or Tom Brady where you want to put everything on his shoulders, but he managed the game. He didn't turn the ball over too much. I think people, and this has always been the case, they give quarterbacks way too much credit and they give them way too much blame. Right. I mean, that was a team effort. The last throw was not very good, but it was kind of the right read. The safety wasn't over the top yet. If he puts that ball out a little bit further, and especially with the time that they had left, that was a decent decision, just a bad throw. Yeah. But he had success at Georgia. He had success with Miami. I mean, to me, he's a top 30 quarterback over the last 20 years.
Dak Prescott is at 81. I'm sorry, folks. If you get Mississippi State to number 1, 100%. Albeit for 1 week, you've got to be higher than that.
He was really
now, granted,
good
he got beat up down here.
Yeah.
But, we'll take what we can
We
get.
didn't say he was a prize fighter. We just said.
Yeah, he ain't a fighter. He's a quarterback.
Just a few more spot shots here. A.J. McCarron at 76. A couple of national championships. That seems a little low. Yeah. 75, J.T. Barrett. Who I thought was really solid at Ohio State.
He was really good.
He should be way higher than that.
Zach Wilson at 72. I'm going to leave that one alone because there's nothing I can say that would be good. How about 68 and 66? Because, again, this is college, but listen to these names. 68, Aaron Rodgers, University of California. And at 66, Patrick Mahomes, Texas Tech. Good college careers, but I think we can both admit these guys made way more of their name in the pros.
Yeah, but if you look at how good Cal was before and after Aaron Rodgers, he definitely elevated that program to a different level. Then they had a history of putting quarterbacks in the league, and he was always recognized as one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the game at the time. So I don't understand that one. And Mahomes, didn't he have a 700-yard game against Oklahoma or something?
Him and Mayfield, he threw for like 700 or something ridiculous thing.
What about, California, they give up Mendoza. I mean, they had some quarterbacks.
Jared Goff.
An interesting one at 63 because I'm glad he got included on the list because a lot of people don't realize how good he was because of the type they play and they're not very good. Keenan Reynolds at Navy was a fun kid to watch for years. So glad he made it in there. I'm going through these. Oh, y'all are going to love this. Number 58. So 42 spots ahead of national champion winning J.J. McCarthy is Denard Robinson from Michigan.
He was terrible. He wasn't even a quarterback. He was a running back, basically.
Right.
How about this guy's at 54, Eli Manning at Ole Miss?
I can't remember too much.
He was good.
Yeah, he was solid.
Well, he's another one with the pro.
The pros elevated his overall.
I think the surrounding cast at Ole Miss at that time was not as good as it's been. Yeah.
In the 40s, we have Mac Jones, who really was based on 1 year there at Al, but what a year. In 2020. And number 44, Stetson Bennett, who got him a couple of natties there. He's 1,000 years old, but that's okay. He did a
as far as college performance, if you went back-to-back national championships, I mean, I'd put you in the top 30, 20 maybe. Yeah. I mean,
well, it's like McCarran being as far down as he is. I mean, those are some great teams. I think what happens, I think it happened with McCarran, it's going to happen to our next guy. I think when you have a team that is ungodly talent laden, the quarterback doesn't get maybe some of the credit that they normally would, because at number 43, this is definitely going to be the case with this guy, Ken Dorsey. At Miami, who was a great quarterback, but golly, the talent around him in those years.
And he had a wonky delivery and wasn't very good in the NFL, and so I think that may hurt him. But ESPN's list, like you said, they're more for reaction than to actually be accurate. So,
all right, Buckeye boys, at number 40, Troy Smith, the guy who at least at one time, he may still had the widest margin of victory for the Heisman, I believe, ever.
Yeah, I mean, I would put him in the top 30, 20. I just have to see the top 20 to see what's the differentiating factor. But if you win a Heisman, you're obviously the best quarterback in the country. So, I mean, it's hard to put him in the 40s for me, but I watched every game. I knew what type of quarterback he was, and he could throw the ball.
He was good.
All right, I'm going to throw this out. I don't want any comments. I'm just going to throw it out. At number 38, Colin Kaepernick, Nevada. Okay. Then we had Rex Grossman at 37, Diego Pavia at 36. Right behind
I don't
Michael
understand how you have
Penix. I'd have Pavia ahead of Penix, even though Penix went to a championship game. I don't know. Pavia was really good.
Pavia was really good. I think people just hate on his attitude a little bit because it's so easy to.
Well, I think his brother got him in more trouble than it.
But when you win at Vanderbilt at that level, you have to give them credit. I mean, that's just not a place that most people can win, and he did carry the team, so I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the Florida quarterback, Rex Grossman, ahead of Troy Smith. Like, that's not even comparable.
I agree.
Or J.T. Barrett. Like, J.T. Barrett was a stud. Now, he was
100%
terrible in NFL because he wasn't a pocket passer, but go look at that Penn State game when they're down 5, down 14, and what he did in that game.
Number 34, as Coach Hale would say, the guy who ruined college football, Justin Fields, Georgia/Ohio State.
Where was he ranked?
34.
That's pretty low.
Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben at 33. Even though he was at Miami of Ohio, he was really good in college too. He wasn't just a pro guy, so that's.
But I would not take him over Justin Fields in college.
No. But we'll kind of close out 30 to 20. We'll do the top 20 when we come back. Bo Nix at 30, Auburn and Oregon. Jalen Hurts at 29, Alabama, Oklahoma. Then we had Case Keenum, Carson Palmer, Phillip Rivers at 26, the ageless wonder. There. Dylan Gabriel at 25, the first quarterback on the list to have played for 3 schools.
This is an awful list.
Yeah. It gets better.
Those last 4 were terrible.
24, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Caleb Williams.
Case Keenum, ahead of Justin Fields and some of these other guys, is absolutely laughable.
And then
what have they won?
Good for us. 23, 22, and 21. We're all going around the board. 23, Tua, or Tula, as those of you listen. That's about right.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud at 22.
Yeah.
Probably about right.
But I had Justin Fields' career as good, maybe a little bit better than C.J. Stroud because of the winning.
State.
They were definitely in the playoffs both years and went to a championship game under Fields. So.
And then at number 21, so no quarterbacks from Alabama in the top 20. Bryce Young, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. Interesting.
I got to see this top 20.
Here we go. Well, that's a tease. So let's talk about TK Vandy Roofing and Contracting. Call Kyle if you have any kind of needs in those areas. He is the absolute best. Make sure you call them today. Patrick Garner and the crew with Turf Pro Pest Control. Make sure your lawn is ready for spring and summer by calling the crew at Turf Pro Pest Control. And we love Cox Pools and all that they do in this area. They are number one. We get back. We've gone through 80. We have the top 20 left, quarterbacks of the 2000s. Watch Jason's head explode live on Facebook.
It already has a little bit.
You're listening to the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your home for college basketball, ESPN Northwest Florida.
The number 12 Florida Gators travel to face the Ole Miss Rebels this Saturday. Riding a 6-game winning streak, Florida comes in as one of the hottest teams in the country.
You saw that coming,
While Ole Miss is currently mired in an 8-game losing skid. Coverage starts Saturday morning at 10:30, tip-off at 11 on your home for Florida Gator basketball.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. A variety of light rain and slight fog this afternoon and evening with a wind coming out of the south-southwest around 10 miles per hour and the high of 72. Tonight, look for a variety of slight fog and very light rain with a temperature near 66. Tomorrow, a high around 74 and very light rain. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
You've planned the moment. Now plan the ring. At Coin and Bullion Reserve's Fine Jewelry, every engagement ring is hand-selected to shine for a lifetime. Coin and Bullion Reserve's Fine Jewelry, your diamond headquarters, 15th Street and East Avenue, Panama City. You've planned the moment. Now plan the ring. At Coin and Bullion Reserve's Fine Jewelry, every engagement ring is hand-selected to shine for a lifetime. Coin and Bullion Reserve's Fine Jewelry, your diamond headquarters, 15th Street and East Avenue, Panama City.
This is Patrick with Turf Pro Pest Control. Do you want a great-looking lawn? Call Turf Pro. We will come out to your property and make a customized plan for your lawn. Then we will do the most important part, execute that plan. Turf Pro is a locally owned and operated company. We take pride in making your lawn beautiful. Call Turf Pro. You will love your lawn. The blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Find us on Facebook at Turf Pro PC.
The Coach James Hale Show is live and local from the J. Michael Studio.
Boss, I got good news and bad news. What's the bad news? Your hat's on fire.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
All right, let's get right back to it because we have a lot to cover here. Jason Cimarron. Here we go, guys. I'm going to read out 20 to 15 real quick, and then we'll get your thoughts. Now, at number 20, Jaden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner, Arizona State and LSU. Number 19, Andrew Luck. I think a lot of people forget just how good he was. 18, Matt Leinart, national champion winning quarterback. At number 17, famous Jameis Winston for Florida State. And at number 16, Sam Bradford, Oklahoma. This probably sounds about right to me, guys.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with any of those. They all had success and were either Heisman contenders or close to it.
Well,
Jay Daniels
Winston
to me
won
might be
the
a higher.
Heisman, so I think it should be down to 15.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe because he didn't have quite as many years as some of the others.
Plus, his off the field, I think, hurts him in the eyes of a lot of people. But Jay Daniels, Jameis Winston, I think, could be a little bit higher.
All right, so you thought that was okay. Now we get to 15. Kellen Moore at Boise State.
Come
on.
Get out of here.
At number 14, Fernando Mendoza, Cal, Indiana. Okay, maybe didn't have quite as many years at the top. I get it. At number 13, Johnny Manziel, Texas A&M. He was great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Didn't win a champ.
Don't have a problem with that one.
This one seems high to me at 12. Colt McCoy at Texas. He was good and obviously got knocked out in the championship game, so it's a what if.
Physically, I don't see him as good as some of these other guys, but he was a competitor. They won. You don't know what would happen in the Alabama game if he didn't get hurt, so he could have had a national championship because they were battling in that game. It wasn't a total blowout until he got hurt, so I don't have a huge problem with that. The problems with some of these guys that have never won anything, that you've never heard of, that never had success in the NFL, it's just like, and that's usually around that 30-40 range.
All right, at number 11, we're starting to get, you forget how many good quarterbacks they were because at number 11, Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
At Clemson, national champion, number 1 overall pick. So, all right, guys, we are at the top 10. Here we go. We're going to go one by one here. Yeah, we should be able to get through this fine. At number 10, RG3 at Baylor.
He was really good. Without injuries at Washington, and I blame Shanahan for putting him back in that game with a bum knee, and you just don't know what that guy could accomplish. He was the best dual threat quarterback I saw at the time, but what a tremendous athlete, good thrower. Just
forget about how good he was.
He was phenomenal, so don't have a problem with that one at all.
At number 9, Marcus Mariota at Oregon. They both won Heisman's. Jameis won a championship. I'm not sure I'd put Mariota ahead of Jameis Winston, Glenn.
No, I wouldn't, but...
He was good.
Yeah. I think
got to a game.
Right.
But
played Ohio State in that game. Don't have a huge problem with it. I would probably have him in that 15 to 20 range, and I'd have a couple guys like Jaden Daniels, maybe even Jameis ahead of him.
At number 8, Lamar Jackson, Louisville.
You can't argue that. That
pretty
was
darn good.
Freaking cheat code when he played at Louisville. And I remember the Florida State game. I think they just scored again. So
they're still scoring.
And that was not a bad Florida State team. He was just phenomenal in that game. Probably one of the best quarterback games I've ever seen.
Number 7, you want to talk athletes? The only player in history to have been drafted first round in baseball and football, Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Texas A&M and Oklahoma. A lot of people forget he was at A&M first because he didn't play much.
I'd still have him a little bit lower. I think guys did a little bit more in their careers, but he was, again, a cheat code, a little phenomenal player. If he was 6 foot, that guy would probably be an elite NFL player.
I remember when they played Alabama in the semifinal, and Alabama, I think, had 3 spies on him.
Right.
And still couldn't. I mean, it was a 1 versus 11 scenario.
Oh, yeah.
At number 6, the king of the illegal pick play, Mr. Massage himself, Deshaun Watson, but hard to argue his success.
Oh, absolutely. Right. I mean, he really started to build that Clemson, mystique. They went head-to-head to Alabama, 4 times in national championship games, were 2-2 against them. So, and that was the height of the Saban dynasty. So you got to give him credit and Coach Dabo credit. So, but he was phenomenal in college.
All right, I'm going to play this the James Hale way from here. The and all that stuff.
I won't talk because I already guessed.
There you go. All right. At number 5, who do we think it is, guys?
Ooh. Tim Tebow's got to be in there somewhere.
He's in there, but he's not at 5.
Ooh.
Drew Eller.
I was going to say that earlier. Is he in the top 100, though?
He is not.
Okay, good. At least they know something.
At number 5, Joe Burrow from The Ohio State and LSU. Obviously, Heisman Trophy winner. I could see him maybe being 4. I'm not sure I'd have him any higher up the list, but I think 5-4 probably about right.
He only had that one great year, but it was one of the greatest years in college football history. But he did struggle the year before, so I can understand why he's at 5 and not in the top 3.
What's funny is, I envision a lot of people doing what we're doing here in that they have in their mind probably 3 of the remaining 4. It's that 4th one that's elusive. So we're going to have some fun.
I still can't think of it unless it's
at number 4, Tim Tebow.
Whoa.
University of Florida.
I thought he'd be number 1.
Jim, wouldn't you have thought he'd been a little bit higher up this list? I mean, just for the collegiate.
Oh, yeah, no question. He won 2 national championships. He was pretty special. He was that team.
Right.
He was. I mean... And in any way you can be a leader, he was that.
I think his NFL or lack thereof success hurts him in some of these discussions, but that's a totally different ballgame.
He's a great college player.
And he was a great leader, a great inspiration. When you have that type of locker room guy that wills your team and puts them at a certain level, I just give them more credit. And I don't care about your mechanics. I care about success and winning 2 national titles. He was top 5 in Heisman, 3 times? So to me, I would have had him 1 or 2.
It's hard because the ones in front of him are good. There's 1 he definitely should be in front of, but there's 2 that it's pretty tough. So at number 3, Vince Young, University of Texas. Hard to argue with this, right, guys?
I mean, at the time, he was unstoppable. I remember coming into Ohio State. We thought we had him beat. He went on that drive, and we made a lot of mistakes in that game, but he was kind of a one-man show, to be honest. And then the USC national championship game was one of the best national championship games in history, and he put the team on his back, drove down the field against one of the best defenses in college football history, if you look at the talent, and can't argue with that one. I'd still put maybe Tebow ahead of him a little bit.
I think Vince Young gets the added bonus of having his best game in the biggest moment possible.
No question.
Right. And they were out-talented in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, USC was loaded.
Those USC teams were unbelievable in the mid-2000s, that's for sure. All right, guys, we got 2 left. I think everybody knows one of them.
Yeah.
It's
Superman.
the other one that might be a little bit tough. So at number 2, Cam Newton.
War Eagle.
Auburn University. They didn't put Florida on here, so I guess the felony. Mississippi State famously would not pay enough for him. That's the worst investment we've ever. Oh, no, they did. But it's the worst thing in the world. Would have been the best bargain in the world. But Cam Newton, if you're talking about a guy who had the best single year, I'm not sure it's arguable.
Right.
Yeah, he was
what
pretty
Cam
special.
Newton did there, absolutely. And they even say in here, years 2007 through 10, and then in parentheses, really, though, just 2010.
Right. And I would say the second half of the Alabama game might have been the best quarterback game I've seen as far as a dual-threat quarterback because he willed that team to win against a team that was beaten.
Absolutely,
dirt out of them, and a phenomenal team and defense, and he just carried them on his back.
All right, I'm going to give you guys each a guess. I can tell you he is still currently a starter in the NFL, the guy who's sitting at number 1. Wildcat, who do you think?
That's a toughie. I mean, number 1. I mean,
Glenn?
Allen?
No.
I'm having a hard time thinking of anybody because
it'll come to you, but you'll be shocked he's number 1.
I mean, Matthew Stafford was good in college, but I don't think he was that good.
No, not in there.
Wow.
Currently a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield.
Are you kidding me?
University of Oklahoma is your number 1 quarterback of the 2000s.
They just ruined that for me.
I knew you would, yeah.
I mean,
are you kidding?
I would put about 15 guys above him, to be honest, just because he never won the national title.
That's right.
I mean, these guys have done it on the field. Heisman's won national titles. When you look at, how's he ahead of Tim Tebow? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. What are we doing?
Here's ESPN's logic, and that's oxymoron.
Right.
Newton, Young, and Burrow had the best seasons. Mayfield had the best career.
Well, they threw the ball every down.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, Lincoln Riley's offense was we're going to spread the field, throw it every single down. That's why stats don't mean the whole story. Of course, that's good to have because it's a barometer on how well you can throw. But at the end of the day, there's probably 10, 15 quarterbacks, if I wanted to win a football game, that I would choose.
I like Mayfield, but I can argue Kyler Murray had a better career than Baker Mayfield.
I definitely think that. I think Joe Burrow was a better quarterback.
He belongs on the list.
Cam, for sure.
Oh, yeah, he belongs on the list. But
top 10, maybe top 15, but the top quarterback to play, no.
Unbelievable.
I would take the whole top 5 over him, to be honest.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, there it is, folks. Baker Mayfield's the king of college football. Jim, Glenn, Jason, thank you very much. Wildcat, enjoyed it as always.
Thanks for hanging in there, Brian.
Coach should be back on Monday, guys. Thank you for everything this week. Make sure you listen to Paul and Jeff this afternoon at 4, and we are out.
Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Saturday night, it's the Kentucky